SafeMoon didn't make it to the moon. They didn't even make it into orbit. SafeMoon detonated on the launch pad. If you watch this video here, or if you watch this video here, watch that one, then you're aware that the founders and so-called executives of SafeMoon have been indicted by both the SEC and the DOJ. Now, I've already broken down the SEC charges, and now it's time to tackle the DOJ charges and what they mean for the crypto bros at SafeMoon. This token was supposed to be bulletproof against rug pulls, and everyone was gonna go safely to the moon. But instead, these three founders just mooned the investors. The SafeMoon execs were first charged with securities fraud conspiracy. This is not a new phrase to most crypto news followers. This charge accuses the defendants of violating Rule 10b-5 of the Rules and Regulations of the SEC and Title 17 of CFR Section 240.10b5. More specifically, the indictment alleges that SafeMoon employed devices and or contrivances, which honestly, contrivances has to be one of my new favorite words, and other schemes to defraud, made one or more untrue statements, and omitted one or more material facts necessary to make their statements not misleading, and engage in acts which operated as fraud and deceit upon investors in SFM in connection with the purchase and sale of those SFM tokens. Even more specifically, the indictment lists 22 separate acts which constituted this one violation. They're basically saying that they have 22 separate instances of these guys committing securities fraud. Now, I'm gonna highlight some of the worst ones, but I wanna point out that securities fraud and regular fraud are not necessarily the same thing, in that it can be easier to get a conviction under the securities fraud statute in certain circumstances. Maybe not technically, but practically, because of the way that the law is written. Because it's not enough for a statement to be technically true under 240.10b.5. It also has to be practically true, meaning it can't be misleading. This is akin to the old distinction between like the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. When you are hawking securities, you have to be honest in fact and also honest in outcome. And according to the DOJ, the guys at SafeMoon had at least 22 is right? 22 separate instances of failing to meet the standard. Listen to some of these. Smith told investors on April 4th, 2021, I hold no SFM tokens because I'm a software engineer. Is that a true statement? SFM tokens can't be held because they're computer code. Maybe they were in his digital wallet. Of course they were in his digital wallet. This statement might be technically true because he's not holding computer code in his hand, but it's also obviously false. Because according to the DOJ and the blockchain, he did too have tokens. According to the indictment, between March 13th and April 24th, Nagy pocketed more than $7.6 million that was from the sale of the SFM token that was supposedly locked up. God, that's so much money. And that was the first of several such accusations in the indictment about taking those supposedly locked tokens and exchanging them for real-world cash for the benefit of the founders. In my opinion, these guys are dead to rights on most of these charges. Everything is mapped out so well on the blockchain, and the tweets are frozen in time. It's not a question of whether they did these things, but a question of what's the legal system going to do about it. Now, the second charge of the three charges is wire fraud conspiracy. The DOJ is accusing Karony, Nagy, and Smith of violating Title 18 U.S. Code Section 1343, which criminalizes the devising of or the intent to devise any scheme to defraud or to acquire money or property under false pretenses by use of some form of electronic communication, wire, radio, television, internet, or even instant messages and text messages in interstate or foreign commerce. Like I said, the tweets kill them here. But it's not just the tweets. Posting the PDFs of the white papers is a wire event because it uses the internet to get their message out to the public. And the same goes for those AMAs, the Ask Me Anythings that they hosted once the coin was live. Anything and everything that they said in those forums that was false or misleading, which seems like, a lot, is the basis for this second charge. The last charge against the SafeMoon team is a money laundering conspiracy. Now, first, I'm gonna read you the absolute monster of legal jargon that is used in the actual indictment before we get into discussing what happens next. The defendants did knowingly and intentionally conspire to conduct one or more financial transactions in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, to wit, the transfer and delivery of United States currency, which transactions in fact involve the proceeds of specified unlawful activity, to wit, one or more offenses involving fraud in the sale of securities in violation of Title 15, United States Code Section 77A, exec, and wire fraud in violation of Title 18, United States Code Section 1346. I mean, the jury is falling asleep at this point. Knowing that the property involved in such transactions represented the proceeds of some form of unlawful activity, and A, knowing that the financial transactions were designed, in whole or in part, to conceal and disguise the nature, the location, the source, the ownership, and the control of the proceeds of specified unlawful activity. Contrary to Title 18, United States Code Section, hold on here, 1956A1BI, and B, to avoid one or more transaction reporting requirements under federal law, to wit, Title 31, United States Code Section 5313A, contrary to Title 18, United States Code Section 1956A1B, two little eyes. Wow. Now let's put that in regular people words. They received money illegally that they wouldn't have had but for their criming. And they tried to sanitize it by putting it in places that regular, legal money would expect to be found. And the goal there is to steal the stolen money from your relative and my relative, my friend, the big guy, Uncle Sam. Because even stolen profits are taxable profits. And it looks like they're gonna be busted on this front as well. Where does all this leave us? It's a great time to buy SafeMoon because the price has never been lower. No. I'm just kidding. Now that you know about SafeMoon's SEC indictment, their DOJ indictment, their FTX conviction. Wait, sorry. That was Sam Bankman-Fried. That's a totally different scam. Man, it's getting hard to keep these crypto scammers straight. Anyways, what should we expect from the SafeMoon indictments moving forward? Now, I think that the most likely outcome that we should expect is a plea deal from Smith, wherein he blows the whistle on Karony and Nagy. Smith appears to have gotten far less money from the fraudulent scheme than did his alleged co-conspirators. He wasn't in charge. He wasn't the guy. I wouldn't choose to represent any of these guys, but if you made me choose someone, I'd take Smith, provided that he was willing to flip upstream, and I'd try to get him out of jail in under 2 years. Now, for the other two, I'd expect more along the lines of 8 to 10 years for them. I mean, it seems like nonviolent criminals might get less, but because of the scale of this project, these guys were able to, allegedly harm around 2 million people. Special bonus legal process. The indictment also lists some pieces of real estate that the DOJ is going to try to seize as having been acquired with the dirty money. And these are not your 3-bedroom, 2-bath cottages down the road. I mean, check out this 14-bedroom house in New Hampshire. This is what the feds are gonna try to seize. That's almost enough beds to invite over a big group of defrauded investors. Or they could have the entire federal jury, plus the bailiff and the judge, spend the night there. I mean, it's nice. It's a cabin. It might help their chances of acquittal. Oh, you don't want to go to New Hampshire? The feds could instead treat the jury to this Florida getaway. Wow, people. It should come as a surprise to no one that each of these houses apparently sold about 8 weeks after the defendants were cashing out of their money in SafeMoon. That's about exactly how long it takes to do a real estate transaction. What are the chances? The people have asked, and America's attorney has delivered. And soon we should be expecting a plea from at least one of the latest crypto bad boys. But even more likely is that they are going safely to prison instead of to the moon. But maybe we won't get that. And you never know until you know. I guess we'll just hang out here until then. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? No, I'm just kidding. In the meantime, you have to drop your pro se opinion down below. What do you think of the SafeMoon DOJ charges compared to their SEC charges? And how do you expect for this to turn out for the executives? You can pass the time while we wait for their conviction by checking out this video here or this video here. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more crypto content. I'll be back soon. Bye.